So is this okay?
I'll go after you go. I'll go there. Until then, I'll start.
I'll take you to bed.
नहीं आप यहाँ आप गुलजार साहब बात करिए ये नाम का होने की कोई हद नहीं पहले से ही सीख लिया इसमें कोई शर्म की बात ही नहीं है आप प्लीज आपके पास 1 घंटे का
यार मोबाइल मारा पीछे ले दो पीछे
Naveen and Salu are very good friends.
Yeah, please go ahead.
तो आप ही नहीं पाएंगे
ठीक है
डेली आता है आज क्या पूरा स्पीच उसमें सीखने
जाइए अरे
गालिब के मौजूद पे थे उन्होंने गालिब के बारे में लिखी थी गालिब की सामान्य उम्र थी उसकी बायोग्राफी थी और उनकी शायरी का तर्जुमा था अंग्रेजी तो गालिब शनासी का एक हिस्सा है कि मैं पवन जी को गालिब की निस्बत से जानता था और ये कि जो गालिब के वाकिफकार हैं उनसे मिलने की तमन्ना रहती है और उस ज़माने में आप शायद ICCR में डायरेक्टर थे वो इंडियन कल्चरल सोसाइटी की और नीम राना फोर्ट में बड़ी खुशकिस्मती कि उन्हें पता नहीं कहाँ से मेरा नाम मिला ये याद आ गया पार्टीशन के बारे में एक छोटी सी गुफ्तगू हुई थी शायद पाकिस्तान से भी आए थे मुझे बुलाया था और मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था कि मैं गालिब के वाकिफकारों से मिल के आऊँ घबराता था इस तरह की मीटिंग में जाते हुए लेकिन उनसे मिलने चला गया तो और वो गालिब के तरफदार हैं लेकिन मैं उनकी किताब की वजह से गया था तो कहता था कि हम सुखन फहम हैं गालिब के तरफदार नहीं और ये मिसरा गालिब के हाथ से ही आया तो वहाँ मुझे एक मौका मिला था शाम के वक्त बैठे हुए कुछ शायर लोग थे कुछ बाहर से आए हुए थे थोड़ी थोड़ी अपनी शायरी का जिक्र करें और सुनाएंगे पर क्योंकि गालिब पर लिखी किताब पढ़ चुका था तो मुझे शक हुआ था कि पवन जी सिर्फ प्रोज नहीं लिखते सिर्फ नस्म नहीं लिखते वो शायरी ज़रूर करते होंगे और मैंने ये सवाल उनसे किया बजाय इससे कि पूछूं मैंने इनसे कहा था मैं कहा आप क्यों नहीं सुनाते हम सब सुना रहे हैं कहने से तो उस वक्त उन्होंने अंग्रेजी में लिखी हुई सोनेट्स की फॉर्म में लिखी हुई युधिष्ठिर और द्रौपदी पर एक बहुत लंबी नज़म सुनाई, और इट रिमाइंडेड मी ऑफ पैराडाइज लॉस्ट, कि उतनी ही मुश्किल अंग्रेजी जितनी में मिल्टन लिखते हैं और उसी तरह की वो दास्तान। लेकिन दैट्स द टाइम व्हेन आई हर्ड हिज पोएट्री, एंड मुझे याद है, मैं वो भूला नहीं, वो कुछ 2 सॉनेट्स जो उनका जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है युधिष्ठिर का द्रौपदी का, उसके बारे में किस तरह से लिखा था उन्हें। और फिर बहुत दिन के बाद जब मुझे मौका मिला, मैंने वो पूरी किताब उर्दू वर्ष में ट्रांसलेट की, तर्जुमा किया और पेश किया मैं किताब। एंड दैट्स हाउ आई नो हिम ओनली थ्रू बुक्स एंड मैनी अ बुक्स व्हिच ही हैज रिटन। और मुझे लगता है वो अदीब हैं, राइटर हैं, और बड़े प्रोलिफिक राइटर, और लिखते ही रहते हैं, बस वो पता नहीं कैसे कर लेते हैं ये सारा। और ये मालूम हुआ कि मतलब सरकार में भी हैं, गवर्नमेंट के ओहदों पर भी हैं, वो अपने कॉन्सुलेट भी रहे हैं, एम्बेसडर रहे हैं, और क्या कुछ नहीं किया, और उस बीच में उसके बावजूद वो किताबें लिखते रहते हैं। कुछ जूनियर उर्दू शायरों का तर्जुमा भी करते हैं अंग्रेजी में। और इस हाल में अब एक हिंदुस्तान की एक सोशल कंडीशन जो बदलती रहती है, जो बदलती चली आ रही है, उस पर वो नब्ज पकड़े रहना और उस पर लिखना और उस पर जिक्र करना, वो 2-3 किताबें जो एक द ग्रेट इंडियन मिडिल क्लास, बीइंग इंडियन एंड बिकमिंग इंडियन, आर रिमार्केबल बुक्स, and he has been contributing in preserving and explaining the Indian culture, और उसे किस तरह से संभाल लिया जाए, कैसे उसको संभाल के भी रखा जा सकता है, उस पर वो लिखी किताबें। और उसके अलावा मैंने जैसे कहा कुछ तर्जुमे भी करते हैं, लेकिन कुछ रिसर्च वर्क करते रहते हैं, जिसमें उन्होंने चाणक्य पर भी, कृष्णा पर भी किताबें लिखी, और उसके बाद ये किताब उनकी आदि शंकराचार्य जो पढ़ी, तो मैं सोचा ये वक्त के साथ साथ चलने वाला शख्स जो सोशल चेंजेस, समाजी तब्दीलियां जो आती हैं, उनको कैसे अपने अंदाज से बयान करता रहता है। और ये किताब अब मैंने इसे बहरहाल रिलीज तो ज़रूर कर दी है, पढ़ी भी है, कुछ समझ में भी आई है और कुछ ऊपर से भी निकल गई, क्योंकि ना तो मैं मजहब को इतनी अच्छी तरह से जानता हूँ, और वो श्लोक और वो जो जिनके मतलब कुछ अब समझ में आए, जो सुनते चले आए इतने अरसे से, अब पता चला उनके रेफरेंसेस समझ में आए, तो बड़ा अच्छा अंदाज हुआ, बहुत अच्छा लगा। और पढ़ते हुए मैं एक जिक्र कर दूँ, मेरा फेवरेट चैप्टर है where he explains the cosmos, जहाँ हमारी पूरी यूनिवर्स के बारे में, and through those shlokas which are there in the writings of Adi Shankaracharya. तो वो cosmos was my very very favorite subject, बल्कि और ना ज़्यादा देर आपके बीच में वक्फा करने के साथ साथ ये कहूँ, कुछ डेट्स, कुछ फासले, कुछ लाइट ईयर्स, कुछ पढ़े थे, कुछ नए समझ में आए, कुछ याद रहे, और मुझे सिर्फ इतना कहने के कुछ 2 मिसरे याद आ गए थे कि 8 ही मिलियन उम्र ज़मीन की होगी शायद, ऐसा एक अंदाज़ा है कुछ साइंसदानों का। 4.6 4.6 4.6 बरस तो गुजर चुके हैं, तुमने कितनी देर लगा दी आने में, और आकर किस मजहब और जात पात के फेर में पड़ी हो। चलो चलें, बस 3 ही बिलियन साल बचे हैं। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you, Gulzar Sahab. Welcome back on.
Is my mic on? Yes. You know, Gulzar Sahab has this ability to say the most complex things in a very simple way. It's a real gift. Although I must admit, it's some points I don't get the language, but I still, you know, it does, especially in his poetry. It does that so beautifully. Incidentally, what Tasneem didn't mention was that Pavan has translated a lot of Gulzar Sahab poems into English. And there are lovely editions where you get the original and the translation next to each other. So that's something to look out for. Incidentally, Pavan is, again, his CV was too long for Tasneem to would have taken the whole evening. But before we begin talking about the subject today, I want to know, how the hell do you manage to pack in so much in a day? You know, this man has been an ambassador, he's been a civil servant, he's been a writer, poet, political advisor, cultural czar. Should I stop there? So, a Renaissance man. And it's wonderful that you managed to do so much. And perhaps you should tell us the secret of time management later. The first question that one asks when you get this book is, why? Why did you write it now? Because I associate you with more, not material exactly, but more things of the earth rather than of the spirit. Therefore, it came as a surprise.
Well, if anybody were to make an analysis of trying to find a single theme in the books I've written, it would take a considerable period of time. Because my first book was a biography of Mirza Ghalib, after which I did a book on the Havelis of Old Delhi. This is my 22nd book. So,
that's what I was saying.
Then I wrote on Krishna, then I wrote on the great Indian middle class, being Indian, becoming Indian, Chanakya. I wrote, the only novel I wrote is being made into a Bollywood film. It's called When Loss is Gain. I've translated Gulzar Sahab, Kefi Azmi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I've written a book on the Kama Sutra also. So there have been many books. And I think essentially there is a search to try and understand different aspects of which we are legatees. As Indians, not necessarily as Hindus only, because my subjects deal with India as a whole and what is happening in India, at least my contemporary books. And you will be surprised, Anil, even Ghalib was written from the point of view of understanding his times as much as understanding his poetry. So in that space, this book, or rather Adi Shankaracharya, fascinated me for 2 or 3 reasons, which I was mentioning earlier this evening. Firstly, his life itself. A man born in the 8th century in Kerala, in Kaladi, who takes Samadhi in Kedarnath and travels the length and breadth of this land by foot not once but twice. And in the scope of that very short life of only 32 years, sets up the 4 mutts or monasteries which draw up the civilizational map of India as it was and it remains today. Sringeri in the south, Dwarka in the west, Puri in the east, and Joshimath in the north.
He even goes to Srinagar.
He goes to Srinagar and writes copiously. the third was, as you go into Advaita, the Vedantic school of thought, and it's not the only school of thought in Hinduism. That in itself was a discovery which I'd like to talk about. But if you go into the Vedantic school of thought, the sheer compressed cerebral energy in trying to understand who we are and what is this world about. It's a question all of us, in moments of reflection or when we pause from the avalanche of municipal concerns that rule our life, when we pause or think, it's a question that confronts us. Why? To what avail? To what goal? To what purpose? To what end? Is there anything beyond the contingent, the immediate, the qualified, the conditioned? Or is there something more? And what is fascinating is that in large parts of Hindu philosophy, they are not Srishti Chintaks. They are not examining the empirical world. Adi Shankaracharya and many others were Paramarthik Chintaks. Their concern was not with God, their concern was what could possibly be the ultimate truth. What could be the absolute reality? And what is our place in it? That is why I often say that of the 6 systems of Hindu philosophy, 5 are technically atheist. They are not talking about Ishwar. They are talking about, once again, the Paramarthik Chintaks, great thinking. So there was this philosophy. And lastly, and if I may just answer your question as I say often on TV debates in 30 seconds more. Lastly, I felt there is a need today. There is a need today for Hindus, as they face a new form of aggression in the religion, as they face self-appointed evangelists who say this alone is Hinduism. It is important for them to explain to them the profundity of thought that underpins this religion. The sheer size of the canvas that defines the power of original thought, Maulik Soch, that underpins Hinduism. The dialogic nature of this religion, its eclecticism, its inclusiveness, its ability to debate called Shastra, it's important to understand all this. And I thought the best template to do that was to go to one of its greatest minds, Adi Shankaracharya.
You know, this particular passage you quote from the Rig Veda about the beginning of the universe. It's so amazing. Can you read it out?
You know, the Rig Veda is written sometime 1,000 years before the Common Era. And look at the rumination. It is not a fiat, it is not a diktat, it is not the assertion of certitude. It is the exploration, the interrogation, the asking of the question of what could possibly be. And it says there was neither non-existence nor existence there. There was neither the realm of space nor the sky which is beyond. What stirred? Where? In whose protection? Was there water, bottomlessly deep? There was neither death nor immortality then. There was no distinguishing sign of night and day. That one, Tat Tvam Asiya, the Upanishads would say, that one breathed, windless by its own impulse. Other than that, there was nothing beyond. And then the next question, it's so important. These are the foundational texts. Who really knows? Who will here proclaim it? Whence was it produced? Whence is this creation? The gods came afterwards with the creation of this universe. who then knows whence it has arisen? Whence this creation has arisen? Perhaps it formed itself, or perhaps it did not. The one who looks down on it in the highest heaven, only he knows, or perhaps he does not know.
It's so brilliant. Because it's not asserting anything. It's not laying down a creation. It's just saying these are the possibilities.
Indeed.
One thing I saw when I read your book was that you must have found it very difficult to actually find out things about him because there are no historical records at all. And there's a lot of myth making. In fact, some of the myths are quite funny. Apparently this young Adi Shankaracharya wants to become an ascetic and he's already lost his father and the mother says, no, you can't leave. And then he goes into the river to have a bath. And you continue the story.
Well, obviously he showed signs of being a renunciate very early. He was a child prodigy. And his father died, his mother was a widow, he was the only child, mother didn't wish him to renounce the world. And so now, the story goes. Story, fable, mythology, anecdote reinforce a central point and illustrate. Their value is in the illustration of an essential truth or a historical fact. So the story goes that he's in the river and he shouts out to his mother to say that a crocodile has caught my foot. And I am about to be pulled under, and the only thing that can save me is if you say, yes, I give you permission. So it's Hobson's choice, and then she says. And he says, don't delay, there's no time. And she says, yes. And that's how he gets his permission. And similarly, there are all, the whole thing about Hinduism is that the greatest harm you can do to Hinduism is to simplify it to a level where you lose the nuanced and beautiful tapestry of complexity, which is one of the characteristics of ancient civilization.
Well, that will take everything literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
But you see, his parents, Shankaracharya's parents, for a long time did not have a child. And then, according to hagiographies, Shiva appears and he says, you can have a child, but you have a choice. Now, once again, a choice. You will have a child who will be adult but will live for very long. Or a child who will be a genius beyond the definition of genius, but will live a short life. What would you choose? And it's an illustrative question, and she says she would like the intelligent child, and he died at 32. But these are the kind of things that keep repeated in stories. But to your question about writing about his life, now